Welcome in. Hits and misses. Week 11. Finally, we get some scoring. Last week sucked a lot. This week, we got like a lot of scoring this week. We got a lot of people playing great. There's definitely some misses we're going to talk about, but there were a ton of hits, man. I'm Toomey. Go by FS Strategist on TikTok. We're going live on TikTok right now. So if you guys have questions, throw them in there. I'm Player Profiler. Best friend Eric. Say what's up to the people, bro.
What up? What up? What up?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna turn you up on my thing. I could barely hear you.
Gotcha.
There you go. All right, but yeah, so let's just talk that game that just finished up. So I picked the Chiefs to win, and I could not be more happy to be wrong. Like I outside of fantasy, I'm annoyed and kind of done with it. But I mean, they're probably gonna win the Super Bowl. But I was at least happy to see that the Bills kind of came through on when they needed to. Josh Allen with the late touchdown to seal the deal. And then another interception from Mahomes. I mean, I think that like Mahomes is kind of playing a little shitty. Do you think so?
We were just talking about that. I'm like, he started the game poorly, and you see he finished the game poorly. And he had the argument early, like his top receivers and all that. He lost Rashee Rice. But to be honest, with Hopkins, Kelsey, he got Hunt. I think, that kind of has run its course as far as him not saying he has the weapons. He's used to these guys around him, I would say now, especially a veteran like Hopkins being able to step in there. Juju Smith-Schuster came back. I think he had one target this game. So get him off your teams as soon as possible. But it's not clicking for some reason. And they were able to go ahead and patch things together to go ahead and go undefeated until today with the big game against the Bills. And the Bills, they did what they do best. They really they got their teeth ready to go ahead and bite into some Chiefs today. And they did that.
Yeah, I mean, like they had to win this game because I think I'm trying to find it. Like the schedule for the Chiefs is like hilarious. Where is it at? They are all right. So they have Carolina, Vegas, Browns, and then they have the Texans. But like those three in particular, you gotta start like dirtying up the Chiefs record right now because they're going to clearly still be the one seed. Like this at least gives teams a little bit of hope that maybe
Mhm.
the whole playoffs are not going to go through Arrowhead, but like they other teams got to do their part now that the Bills at least like scarred their mark by not letting them be undefeated still. So yeah, I'm as an AFC guy, happy to see it. Happy to see the Chiefs take a little bit of a step down, but we'll see how it goes. Some people
Yeah.
on TikTok go Bills. Good pick on the Chiefs, go Bills. And so it's a lot of Bills people seem to hop in here mad quick, especially when you pick against them. I think
Yeah,
this.
they
Oh yeah,
hype
this is
right
the
now.
second week in a row I picked against the Bills. So maybe I'm there. Maybe I'm good luck for y'all.
They'll take it, I'm sure.
Hell yeah, man. All right, so let's talk through some of these hits and misses. Anyone in particular that jumps out to you? Because I think there's just like there's so many hits today, so many. Where you want to go?
We can go to Big Brees like a Brightling. Go ahead and start with him.
Okay. Like I think that this game was so interesting because I'm obviously gonna talk about my boy after this, but like Brees did his thing, and I'm glad that they got him involved in the air and on the ground. And to me,
Yeah.
like this is how your offense should be running through Brees. Should be running through Brees in the ground game. A lot of play action to your receivers. They actually they played terribly offensively for most weeks. This wasn't one of those weeks where I'd say they played awful outside of the first couple of possessions. So
Mhm.
it was good to see Brees get involved like this. I will say he's scary. He's a scary person to own right now. You don't know what you're getting on a week to week basis there. And as they continue to lose games and to get further and further out of the playoffs, I do worry about this team overall. I mean, I don't know what to think about the Jets offensively on a week by
Oh
week
yeah,
basis, and
I
that's
agree.
scary. It's super scary.
But I am glad to finally see the man put up with the kind of performance we expected on a weekly basis, given his talent. Like I'm watching the game, I'm like, this is who I expect to see from week to week.
One hundred
Maybe the
percent.
shake up there, they're gonna start giving him the ball more. But as you said, the long-term outlook, given where they are right now, it's hard to call it. So it's shaky ground. Like you said, being a manager of Brees Hall, you on a balance beam as it stands right now.
Oh yeah, it's just it's. I was telling people to buy him. I still feel good about that, but I'm not like I feel good. You know, I feel good about it today. But it's like you can't feel like that comfortable, bro. Like it's kind of scary. That's probably I mean, technically that's a profile of somebody you should probably sell, honestly. Like that's probably somebody you should probably even think about selling if you don't trust his profile on the week-to-week basis. Now, me personally, because I'm a fan, I will never do that. But that's not how you should be operating your fantasy teams. You should be operating your fantasy team based on what's the best for you. So technically, I wouldn't hate if somebody was like floating out Brees as a sell high. I think it's not a bad idea.
Interesting.
Yeah. But let's just cut to the other side, man. Let's cut all the fluff. Let's cut all this chase. Watch the one graphic that I'm sure didn't load is that one. I promise you. Where is it? Oh, this is great TV. Let's just wait until I find this graphic, bro. Hold on, y'all. Through my windows right now. Y'all chilling. Just give me a minute. Just give me that Jeopardy music.
Give me a do 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 do.
There it is. All right, we coming. Pause. No Diddy.
Don't be like LaMelo Ball. That cost him some money, boy.
Oh yeah. I mean, I won't get fined here. Now, Anthony Richardson. So this was a good game for him. One of his best from a throwing perspective.
Oh, yeah.
But I wouldn't say like this wasn't like, oh my God, he's it now. He's killing it. He's the one. Like, no, he did a good job. The team did what they needed to do, and when it got competitive, they had to drop him back because you're in a competitive game, so I get it. But the goal for me, even though JT, it was not impressive, man. 24 for like 55, something like that. But
horrendous.
You run the ball. That's the thing with the Colts. No matter what, I don't care if they stack the box. You put JT back there, you give him 20-something carries. They give him 24. You put Anthony Richardson back there, you let him carry the ball. He got 10 carries. Like, that is how you can win as a Colts team, but not even really win, but like, outside of fantasy, that is what you need to do with a quarterback like this. That's what Josh Allen rookie year was like. That's what Lamar Jackson rookie year was like. That's what Jalen Hurts rookie year was like. And we're still technically in his like rookie stint of games because he got injured that last year. You just need to run the ball super heavy because that's going to make the passes wide open with that play action. And so I was happy to see it. Colts, if you guys are hiring consultants, clearly you guys are watching the TikTok or something because I was saying this all week. So make sure y'all send your boy a check. But this is what you wanted to see, and I'm glad we finally saw it. Hopefully we're going to continue to see that week over week over week. Now, still turned the ball over, still wasn't super safe with the ball every time, but I'll take you just got to take the good with the bad if he's going to play like this. Like the passing, that's all you could ask for when he's passing under 50%. Most games. So like I'll take 20 for 30, bro. I will take 67% completion percentage for Anthony Richardson all day.
Yeah, if you can get games like this, and this is how he develops with this type of utilization, like you said, this is the match to his skill set that he needs to do. The 10 carries, I'm also glad to go ahead and see that. What somebody else says
it's the Bills people. It's like all the Bills people. Like, so I was literally talking to Eric as I was hopping on the show. It's like, you know what? I didn't update the Bills graphic to put in an X, but it'll be all right because people are just chill. Apparently not. Apparently, all of Bills Mafia is in the player profile of TikTok. They love, man. I hope all you Bills Mafia people stay, man. I'm honestly, if you're a Bills fan, you should love me because I pick against you guys every week. I picked against you guys 2 weeks in a row, and you guys have won. So y'all. I mean, I'm the best thing you guys got going right now.
Hey.
Well, all right. Let's see. Let's get back to some of the games. We gotta talk about this one. This thing. The Lions game, bro. It was nuts. I have two hit graphics for this one. I got this one, and then I got this one.
I like it. The throwback.
Yeah,
You're a little old if you recognize these guys. You had that little Sega Genesis back then.
Hell yeah. Sonic and Knuckles. But let's just start with let's start with Jared Goff. Like I was worried in this game because I knew like they were gonna win. I knew they were gonna blow them out. Because the over-under was 13.5, which is incredible. That's crazy. But even still, I still bet that 13.5 because I knew they're the type of team who, when they get ahead, they just like to step on your neck. And so this just set up perfectly against I would be surprised if Doug Peterson was allowed on the bus back to Jacksonville. Like this set up to me like perfect fire you game. And I know I've been saying that for like 3 weeks in a row, but this one really set up like a perfect fire me game. And at 52-6, I don't know what coach makes it out of that, but he's got to get out of here. Now, these players, every single player did their thing. Like literally, like because Laporta was out, but you had Jared Goff will go for 35 points. You had Amon-Ra go for damn near 40 points. You had J-Mo go for 22, giving you that big play I kept telling everybody he was going to get. And then we got Sonic and Knuckles over here, Montgomery and Gibbs. Montgomery going for 2 tutties. Gibbs going for a touchdown and like a big reception. Everyone ate. Like every single player ate. And like that is what you can get with this Lions offense. Now you're not going to get it every week. Somebody's gonna not perform well in most games when they're not scoring 52 points. But they, to me, it's hard to say they're not the best team in the NFL. It really is.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Like it's just with how the Ravens played today, how they just seem like they're a good team, but the Ravens just like it's that division, they struggle with it. like they're good on all these other teams, but when they play that division, boy, there's a different animal to them. And the Lions are just like the Lions can throw 5 interceptions and still win. And then they're going to just beat down teams.
Having any player on the Lions, even if you say Montgomery, he's the one who had the most points today, you aren't really upset if you have a Jahmyr Gibbs on your team because he turned 11 carries into damn near 70 yards and a touchdown. And he had 1 reception for 54 yards. Like they take maximum advantage of all of their opportunities. I'll always go ahead and say this as every person who's in fantasy, they say volume is king. All Lions players got a pretty decent amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got some exposure. Everybody got some sugar. Like they say in basketball, pass some sugar. Everybody got some sugar. All of it.
Hell yeah, man. The Lions are dominant. They are all must-starts. Now, every now and then, I think David Montgomery's matchups are a little dicey here and there, but the scoring is there. So, I mean, the David Montgomery touchdown props are always hitting. The only dicey one sometimes is Jared Goff because they don't need to throw that much. That was what I was worried about today. Like I thought he was going to throw for like 80 yards and like 4 touchdowns. You know what I mean?
See that too. That's true.
Yeah,
that is actually
but
true.
that wasn't the case today.
No.
So guys, there's so many more hits and misses, man. Go ahead and put an X on the Chiefs game like a good boy is what somebody said. All right, so we got way more hits and misses to talk about. TikTok is going crazy, as you can clearly see. And we're going to talk about all that more on the other side of this break, all right?
The other side.
It's the Podfather, and last year's fastest growing fantasy platform is back. It's Smash Up Fantasy. They've got these leagues where you redraft your team every week and you get smarter as the season progresses. Now, Smash Up also has a patented power-up card. These are actual cards that can boost your individual players or your entire team. So if you think Lamar Jackson's going to run wild all over the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 1, play the Scramble Spikes Smash Up card to turbocharge his rushing points. And that's not all. Smash Up also is introducing the world's first single-player fantasy game. Think Street Fighter meets fantasy football, where you can go toe-to-toe versus an increasingly difficult fantasy football boss and qualify for the postseason tournament of champions. So test your skills against me, the Podfather, and the Player Profiler team today at smashupsports.com and use code PlayerProfiler. The code is Player Profiler to get special perks like extra lineups for these weekly tournaments and so much more. And it's all free at smashupsports.com.
Make sure you guys hop on Smash Up. Let's go. No time to waste. Let's get back onto these hits and misses. All right, so let's see. Anyone who jumps out to you, I don't know if you want to go with a miss or a hit or anything.
We brought up the Ravens Steelers. That's enough to go through. They pretty missy right there.
Yes. Even Zay Flowers who caught a touchdown, it wasn't like a big stat line. You were happy. Oh my gosh, you got saved by that touchdown. You had Zay Flowers.
Absolutely.
This game, like 15.9 points for Lamar. And again, you were really happy to get that touchdown late. Russell Wilson, 7.3 points. That one hurt. I told a lot of people to start him today. Like he was in the top 10 for me this week. And this was one of those ones where there's really no excuse for me telling people to do that because Lamar Jackson, I think he has a PFF rating of 50 or less in every game against Mike Tomlin. He's now 1-4, but he was 1-3 prior to this against Mike Tomlin. He actually, it's funny, he's been in the league for a long time. He tended to like miss a lot of games against the Steelers or be injured. So he only played them 4 times prior to today. But he's now 1-4 against them. They just have his number. Mike Tomlin has his number. He fully knows how to play him. He respects him, but he knows how to contain him and not let him go crazy on the ground. And I thought the difference today was going to be Derrick Henry, but I mean, we see like 13 for 65 and a touchdown. That fumble was a big deal. Like that's a solid day, but like, what'd you say?
He started early messing up. That was like the first drive, I believe.
Yeah. Like in this division, with those teams playing so tight, you just cannot afford to do that. And I mean, the Steelers didn't even score a touchdown. 6 field goals. Like they just got it done, and they just limited them enough to not allow them to like have the normal offensive output that the Ravens typically have. And they just got their number.
Yeah, nasty work. Those of you with Mike Williams, go ahead and free up some space on your team. He did some cardio out there. No need for that. Deontay Johnson, he the only person that I think need to go ahead and go back to Carolina to go ahead and have some burn, because he ain't making it work on the Ravens right now either. So those of you who have those two players, red alert, red alert, red alert.
Yeah. Like he got, 0 of 2. I don't know what the hell is going on with Deontay Johnson. That's wild. That's wild business to me. Like he may get released from their team. not even fantasy.
Welcome back to Carolina.
I mean, I kind of thought. At least maybe they throw him like a bone against his former team. And even Tomlin, I think he like was referenced during the press conference, and Tomlin didn't take a shot, but he kind of like dismissed him a little bit. So I just thought, like, all right, maybe they're gonna like force feed him the ball at some point. No, he's not a factor. I will be surprised if he played like more than 50% of the snaps.
Yeah, consider how things are going, he's put himself in that position.
Yeah, but let's talk about this guy. This guy here. Yo, if you have Taysom Hill, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, Taysom. Taysom Hill. So many people have Taysom Hill. And did not start him today. Like that's gonna hurt. He did this damn thing, bro.
8 of 10 receptions. That's the thing. The man get targeted like that's what he does. But he also throws the damn ball. The man had a 75-yard touchdown in the game. Like he was the utility man on roids today. He was making it work. He's been banged up pretty much throughout the season, but every now and then you get that Taysom Hill game. I believe he had one other game this season that I'll go ahead and consider the Taysom Hill game. I was lucky enough to start him that day, but I wasn't lucky enough to start him today. I don't have him on my team, but if you did and you had him on the bench, I can kind of see why you did that, but these are the ones you want to make sure you get these.
Yeah.
I can't say you can get this next week, but that's just how it is. So
yeah, like this is, and that's the thing. Like it's going to be super inconsistent. Like Alvin Kamara, 16 carries for 67 yards, 4 reception for 22. It's a tough situation, man. Like he only had 7 carries but went for 138. Good luck catching that again. But if you were lucky enough to do it, good on you. I did it in one league. I'm winning that league. I'm winning that league this week. But yeah, like that one there, like Taysom Hill, if you faced him, I apologize because like hopefully you faced somebody who had him on the bench because most people I don't think start.
He's the kind of guy you can use the little cheat code on because if he's tight end eligible in your league, you won't really have to go ahead and put him in like a quarterback position. So as a tight end with all of these things here, as you can see for a stat line for what he did, it's like having 2 quarterbacks given some chances. So 10 opportunities to catch the ball, 8 receptions, all those rushes. Yeah, that's
the 8 of 10 is the crazy part.
Like he did a little bit of this more often. Boom.
Yeah, like the rushing was crazy. Like he's not going to be hitting off like 75 yards and shit like that. But the 8 of 10 receptions is the thing. Like if he can be solid, like a target earner here, like because even with all that other stuff, that will put you in like great line. What is that? Like that's 13 points right there on just the receptions.
Yep.
Like if he can give you that floor and you know he's going to get some carries, and if he falls into the end zone, like he is a major factor that you need to keep in mind for sure.
Definitely.
Yep. Quick question here. So Burrow or Herbert tonight? I have Burrow like 2 spots over. I have Burrow as like my QB3. Herbert's my QB5. I'm very high on both of the players tonight. I think that this is going to be a really fun shootout game. I actually have Burrow, though, just slightly higher than Herbert. But I actually think that the Chargers win the game.
Yeah, Burrow been balling, and I believe he gets T. Higgins back. I definitely lean
Mm-hmm.
Burrow for sure. For
Yep.
sure.
100%. 100%. All right. All right. So questions that we're getting, and I mean, we're gonna go to the game picks at the end, but people have no chill. So, Bills, clearly I picked them to lose again. They did not. And then the Raiders game, that's the one where people are really stuck on. Where I picked the Raiders to upset. I'm always gonna pick one zig. I'm gonna zig somewhere on my
Yeah,
every single week, and that was the one, and it did not work out. It did not work. I mean, I picked the Browns too, but that clearly didn't work out either. But outside of that, I got 8 wins, so that's not too bad.
yeah.
And 8-4 is literally, it's the same percentage, like that 67%. That's the same percentage I have the entire season. Like I'm 67%, like 111 wins versus like 54-ish losses now,
Man,
which
know
is
his
good.
stuff.
It's a good
Know
record,
his
bro.
stuff.
It's a good record, bro. Oh my gosh, people be hating. All right, so where do we want to go next? We gotta talk about this guy real quick. Juwan Jennings, like he truly is. I don't want to always just be hating on Debo. I don't want this to be a that. But clearly, I'm about to hate on Debo. Like he's just not that. He is not the type of player who can consistently deliver unless it is schemed up for him. And like again, like another player coming out of the woodwork and just being a more reliable target for Brock Purdy. Like this is what like Brandon Ayuk was last year. And you would hope that Debo would just step it up and improve his route running, improve his ability to separate and get open and give himself an open target for Brock Purdy. But he is just not that. Now I'm still going to be ranking Debo decently highly, but it does seem like Juwan Jennings is just going to be a more consistent level part of this offense than Debo is. Debo's going to have his ups, but he's going to have his downs too, especially if he doesn't score. And now that CMC's there, his carries are going to be a little less because they're also still going to give the other running backs some work too. Not super happy with this Debo situation, but Juwan Jennings, I think he has truly earned a starting spot. He is a clear like wide receiver 2 rest of season, honestly.
Yes, very bullish on Juwan Jennings. It seems like he's higher in the pecking order than Ricky Pearsall. Keep in mind, Kittle was not playing in this game, so you didn't have any targets going there, so which probably led to Jennings getting probably a little bit more looks than he might have gotten if Kittle had played. However, with that said, they've had nothing but great things to say about Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings, going back to last year, would have been considered the MVP for the 49ers in the Super Bowl. They really like Juwan Jennings. The guy has done it enough times this year to go ahead and convince that he has what it takes to be a really good wide receiver. I'm very bullish on Juwan Jennings. He's a guy to have for the 49ers.
100%. Like he's athletically super gifted, and the opportunities are going to be there because this is another team who, because they lost, they're going to be highly competitive. They're going to continue to improve running with CMC there. But they're going to be they got to win these games, so they're going to be putting it in the air more than you may think for a 49ers team traditionally, because they continue to like lose out on these games super late. And so they cannot afford to go down anymore. Like they got to be pushing the ball, and he's just more reliable weapon. Like even on this one Debo pass, it was an inaccurate pass by Purdy, but it was one of those like tip balls in the air that could have been picked off. Like I think as the schedule tightens and as you can't afford to lose any more games, you're going to start going to more reliable weapons. And so I do think that Juwan Jennings is just going to be more consistent than Debo rest of the season for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. There's probably some losers, not losers, but like there's probably some like misses we want to talk about. We talked kind of about the Browns game already, but let's just talk about the good and the bad there. Starting with the bad. I saw you highlighted Tillman in our show sheet. What are your thoughts, bro?
With Tillman, like I said, volume is king. All the other wide receivers pretty much did a really good job of getting off in this game, but Tillman's talent is there. It just didn't break out in the cards for him today. As you can see, 3 of 8 for 47 yards. The thing you need to pay attention to is the 8 opportunities to catch the ball. You do like Jameis Winston, as I like to go ahead and call him, giving him opportunities out there. Tillman, you got to respect his talent. He's still going to be there. He's a great option. You might want to consider buying low if somebody drops him or anything like that. I know trading deadline is pretty much over for most people coming up maybe the next day or two here. It'll be over. And also Nick Chubb, 11 carries for 50 yards. There's where I'm a little bit worried. I was hoping he'd start at this point producing a little bit more, but it seems like you probably won't be able to lean on Nick Chubb as we would have liked to anticipate, given his name, capital, and everything. So the way that team is built, they're putting it in the air a lot. We'll probably get to the good side where we talk about the other two receivers who could be good waiver wire pickups if they happen to be on anybody's team. But I still favor Tillman given the opportunity that he had. He just didn't have the big plays like we will potentially mention shortly.
I'm sorry. I was just looking at the Brown schedule coming up. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Nick Chubb. Jeez. Wow. So here are the games he has coming up. Steelers, Thursday night. Broncos, December 2nd. Steelers again. So you got Steelers 2 times the next 3 games. Steelers are one of the best teams against the run on an EPA per play basis. TJ Watt, Cam Hayward on a PFF basis, like they're elite. Got the Chiefs, who are literally just the number 1 in the NFL against the run. And he's not James Cook right now. He's not shifty like that. Then you got the Bengals, and then you got the Dolphins. So that's not terrible. And then after that, and then you have the Ravens, but that's kind of like the fantasy playoffs are Chiefs, Bengals, Dolphins. So you'll be okay then if he makes it. But no one's winning their league, I don't think, because of Nick Chubb, honestly. Unless you make it to the playoffs and he just happens to be there for you. So it's not a great situation. And honestly, this week, I was hoping that he was going to not ball out, but like, honestly, his average is not terrible. It's just like they were out of this game. And so they couldn't continue to run the ball like that. If they were in this game, I think he would have had a decent day because, I mean, giving you like close to 5 yards a carry, it's not, I mean, for what he's been giving us, this is significantly better. They are just a team who's going to be, the Steelers may beat that ass. The Broncos, are good. The Broncos,
surprisingly, they mopped the Falcons.
Defense. Yeah, man, that defense is going to get after them. Then they got Steelers again. That's a tough road to hoe, man. But I do think they're going to be throwing the ball a lot, and that kind of goes to some of the good players on the Brown side. Finally, I've been talking to Jerry Jeudy since Jameis Winston, and he actually has been getting targets. But it was good to see that he finally put it together with that one massive play, but also he was just heavily involved in the game throughout. So he went for 26.2 points. Then you have David Njoku going for 19, 9 of 10. You love to see that at tight end, 2-point conversion for 81 yards. Like he like those two guys, I feel really comfortable about David Njoku. Tillman will have a better day, but I do think with Tillman and Jeudy, I was concerned that Tillman all of them got targets because they throw the ball like a crazy amount, but Tillman was super dependent on touchdowns for him to be that much more elevated than Jeudy. My rankings between them were never that far apart. And I just was like, man, if Tillman doesn't score, then he has a solid day, but his day would be literally the same as Judy's. So you didn't get the score today. You got Jeudy getting the big touchdown. And so I do think it's going to kind of go back and forth. I don't think it's going to be every single week Tillman all the time. Like, I think it's going to be close.
Yeah. Even that listed here was Elijah Moore, who also did pretty darn decent today.
100%. Oh, man. So, hey, TikTok, because you guys are talking a lot. Who do you guys want us to talk about next? A hit or miss? And it's all about the Chiefs lose, Chiefs lose, Chiefs lose, Chiefs lose. There's a lot of Chief haters.
I know.
Let me see. They're not telling me anything. They're just talking smack. Yeah, they're just talking smack. Hell, you're a Ravens fan? Ravens are better. Talk about the Bills. You just hate the Chiefs that mad. All right, that's cool. All right, so we talked about Anthony Richardson. We talked about Taysom Hill. Talked about Sonic and Knuckles. So we just brought up the Broncos, so we got to talk about Bo. Based on his trajectory, he's making it a race between Offensive Rookie of the Year now with Jay Daniels. He really is. His team is set up for a little bit of an easier road too. Because, I mean, the defense is just playing so well, and they put them in such good positions. Like, they're not even super, like, turnover heavy. They just get that pressure like crazy. Now, they're now leading the league in sacks. They were leading the league in pressures by far. And so if you're the quarterback there and your team is putting you in such great positions and you just don't have to mess up, this was his best passing game of his career, 28 of 33 for 307, 4 touchdowns in the air, and only 2 carries for 5 yards, which you typically see him get like 10 carries. Exactly. Hopefully he picked up Bo Nix a couple of weeks ago. This was the first time I rated him inside of my top 7, and I didn't even rank him high enough because he balled out. I started him over like Jordan Love. I started him over Jared Goff, so that was a mistake. But like I started him over like Kirk Cousins, all these players. I started him over them, and I'm glad that kind of worked out. The advice I gave this morning worked out where those people who started Bo Nix, you can feel good about it. You can feel good about it moving forward. Like he's I can't say he's good yet, but he's good for fantasy. You know what I mean? He's good for fantasy, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, we can't say he's good, but I will admit, given what I thought about Bo Nix, especially starting the season, I have to eat crow. I was talking dirty about the Broncos. Damn, no, I was. But they have shut me up. They've turned it around, and I got to go ahead and give respect where respect is due. So respect Bo Nix and the Broncos.
Yeah, but on the other side of that game,
woo!
Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk. Yeah,
when it rains, it pours.
Like Captain Kirk, man. This is one. So I will say, if you guys are on TikTok, you should make sure you're following Player Profiler on TikTok. Make sure you're following FF Strategist on TikTok, Eric P. Football on TikTok. I told people very blatantly, do not start Kirk Cousins today. Do not start him today. Like, he is a fade like crazy. Do not start this man. This man leads the league, and this is a Player Profiler stat if you guys want to check it out. Leads the league in the amount of danger plays that he has. Number 5 in interceptable passes. And all of those rates go up when he gets pressured. And like I said before, Denver is by far the best pressure team in the NFL. So this was as predictable just based on the stats. This was a very predictable outcome here. I knew the Broncos were going to win. I even thought they may blow them out, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad. Like I knew Kirk Cousins was not going to be great, but Jesus, 5.9 points, 18 to 27. I took his over half interception prop that hit, 173 yards. It just was a bad day, and we knew it was going to be a bad day. So I'm not going to say I don't have sympathy for you if you start Kirk Cousins, but I kind of don't, because you should be following. Like, you should be following to get that advice, for real.
Yeah, I just thought they would be able to do something given their amount of weapons. I would have expected, honestly, more out of Bijan. Pitts had another day that was horrendous. We don't have him up here, but you don't want to look at that. Drake London, he ain't really do nothing for real either, clearly given the score and the amount of yards produced by Kirk Cousins. So you would have thought that they could have done something, but they got absolutely mopped in this game. So it just goes to show you how dominant that Broncos defense really is, especially given those things that Kirk Cousins is susceptible to. So it is
100%. Like the Pat Surtain, I don't know if he's truly getting like recognition for like Defensive Player of the Year, but he's up there. He's just been locking people down. I think I have the stat here. Where is it at? It was number 1 wide receivers versus the Broncos. DeAndre Hopkins, 9.6 PPR points. DK Metcalf, 5.9 PPR points. George Pickens, 4.9 PPR points. Mike Evans, 3.7 PPR points. Garrett Wilson, 9.1 PPR points. Jacoby Myers had a baller day with 13.2 PPR points. Ladd McConkey, 8.3 PPR points. Xavier Legette also had a good day because he scored, but he only caught like 34 yards, so he had 13.4 because of a touchdown. Zay Flowers just tore him up. He went for 30 PPR points. And so Drake London went for like 9.6, is it? Was it? He went for 9.1. I honestly, if you got 9.1 out of Drake London, you should be happy. You should be happy with that, because like Pat Surtain is a problem. And he even told you the wide receiver 2 struggled with him too. They average only like 9.6 points per game. This one again,
he ain't do nothing.
He didn't do anything. He left the game with like a hamstring injury. I'm not sure if he ever came back. But again, guys, I'm not even trying to like just say it to like hype up my followers or like join the team, but truly, like you need to be following to make sure that you get the advice. Like, this was one where if you lost because you started Falcons players, I don't have sympathy for you. You need to follow the pages. You just got to follow, because this was one that was very clear. This was very clear advice that you got to follow the page to know. Like, if you didn't follow and you messed up, I'm sorry, bro. You got to just do better. Do better, man.
As a guy that likes football and who's known to me a long time, went to school with this man, I can tell you he obsesses over doing his work. When we would go study, I like the bullshit, and he always want to work. You know what I'm saying? This man puts in that work. So let me tell you something. He will do the necessary analysis to steer you right.
Yeah. Thanks for he obsesses over work. And I mean, I'm saying that as I'm looking at like the research I did this week, 25 pages. I didn't hit my 26 I did last week. Correct. Every single week I'm hitting 25 to 26 pages of research. That's crazy.
It's fun.
On the side. Like on the side, that's a full. That's wild, bro. I need to get a life. All right.
What you like, man? Shoot.
I like what I like, bro. Let's talk about the Rams, guys, if I can find them. Yeah, these guys, they balled out.
And they got volume. Both of them boys.
Mm-hmm.
You can see 9 receptions for Puka Nacua, 25.3 points, 123 yards in a toddy. Cooper Kupp, 10 opportunities to catch the ball. He caught 6 of them for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. If you were watching the game, you saw where he happened to catch the guy. The guy must have missed it by a hair. And Cooper had like a 40-plus yard touchdown. So that really shot him up there on the day for the day. But Kupp knows how to get open. He is a triple crown wide receiver. So you got to go ahead and tip your hat to him. He is that guy. But Puka Nacua, even with that touchdown, he got banged up a little bit. That's the one concern with this man. He gets nicked up easy, but he's good. You know what I'm saying? I'll give him that.
Yeah, like this. This was an amazing game by these guys. It was tighter than I thought it was going to be at the end. But they pulled it out. Pause. They pulled out the game. I can't. I'm just such a child. But yeah, they had a good. They had a good game.
You might have people from New York up here. They hit you with an Ayo.
Yeah. Like they directly impacted this guy, Kyron, who gave you 8.6 points, no touchdowns. That is one of the things. Like when this offense gets going with these receivers, I do start to get concerned with Kyron because they are so happy to put the ball in the air at the goal line when both of the guys are healthy. When they're not, when even one of them is not healthy, they really tend to give Kyron a lot of carries down there. But when both of these guys are healthy, and I mean, we'll see, I think Puko's fine, but like it really directly impacts his upside. So yeah, that kind of hurt. That kind of hurt a lot of people like me who had a touchdown parlay today. Thanks, Kyron. Thanks, Kyron. All right. So we talked about most of the players, all the biggest hits and misses. Just really quick recap on like waiver guys. So Jonnu Smith, this was a guy who I was very happy to put in my top 10 tight ends this week. He's been heavily involved every week in this offense since Tua has been back. Like, I think some people thought when Tua comes back, he's going to fall off the face of the earth, and that hasn't been the case. Like, he is a part of this offense. He's not going to give you 2 touchdowns like he did today most weeks.
He had a Waddle.
Yeah, he is ahead of Waddle in the pecking order. Achen's going to continue to get his short area targets. Again, this team is the bottom of the league in average depth of target, which is crazy when you have Waddle and Tyreek Hill. But that is what it is, and they like to throw it short, and Jonnu Smith is on that list. So if you want to still be able to pick him up, make sure you guys grab him on waivers this week. Roshan Johnson, decent day today. He still was behind Swift in carries, but he clearly is the goal line guy, and it seems like they're going to try to lean more on the run. So that was at least good to see. We didn't talk about Caleb today, but I'm glad he started running. I've always thought that he should be using his legs because he's very talented with that. Kind of an unlucky break, I'm not going to lie. Like, that was like getting the field goal blocked right up the middle with the fingertip. That's tough. That's a tough loss, man. I'm glad because I picked the Packers, but that's a tough loss. That's one guy who we haven't talked about. Like, I think that he probably was dropped recently. He's a guy worth picking up if he's going to be running the ball like that.
Yeah.
Yep. MVS, he's the one catch for the big ass gain. He is a poor man JMO to me. And so if you like, he obviously delivered for you today. He delivered for you last week. Nobody picked him up. He's going to be incredibly inconsistent, but every couple of weeks you're going to get a big shot. And especially if they're facing a team who can't pass rush, I do think he's going to have better days like that. So consider him. And then Jerry Jeudy, he's probably available in like less than 50% of the leagues, but he's not like widely owned. Make sure you pick him up because this team is going to be throwing the ball like crazy. And so Jerry Jeudy's matchups are not actually super tough like Nick Chubb's are over the next couple of weeks. And Jameis Winston is throwing the ball at a crazy high clip. And so if I do think that he's going to emerge as truly like the number one target, even if Tillman still scores more, I think Jerry Jeudy is a big ad. So make sure you pick him up.
Yeah. Jameis gives you opportunities. You got to love him for that. He gives you opportunities.
Yep. He don't care. He just throw it up. All right, so let's talk about these picks. So it's funny. So I had all these people on TikTok. Chiefs lost, bro. Chiefs lost, bro. Chiefs or Bills won. Yeah, I have the graphic right on YouTube. So make sure you're following there. So record on the picks this week was 8-4. On the season, we're 111-54. So that's still, I cannot escape this like 67%. like win percentage, but it's kind of the same every week. It's like usually winning. I mean, I'm never going under 500. I feel like that's kind of like crazy, but I'm never going under 500. Then I went 8-4 this week so far. Hopefully, we win these next two. In the next couple of games, just to talk about our predictions, I think that the Chargers win the game. It's going to be close to me. I think this is going to be a fun shootout type of a game. If the Bengals are able to protect Joe Burrow, they could easily win this game. They got their weapons coming back. I hate it. Like, this was the game. I hated having to pick here because truly this could be a game where whoever has the ball last wins the game. But I'm just going to go with the team who's been – I think they have like 6 sacks per game. They're leading the league right now over the last 3 weeks in the Chargers. Justin Herbert has been playing at an elite level, like one of the top, if not the top PFF rating over the last few weeks since his bye week. No interceptions, no interceptable passes. Like, he's not even putting the ball in harm's way. Like, he is just playing at a dominant clip. They're able to run the ball. Now they're getting Gus Edwards back into the mix. And while their defense is not like amazing talent-wise, they just do such a good job of playing sound-ass football. And so I think they'll be able to get a stop enough to kind of slow down the Bengals offense, even though I think the Bengals are going to do well offensively.
Yeah, you were kind of saying it without saying it. The Bengals defense, that's probably going to let them down in this game. They can't keep up with the potential capacity that the Chargers do. Like you said, they were leaning on the rush, but now they're unlocking Herbert. Herbert, who we know isn't a quarterback that had to be protected from his ability to throw. It's not like he's bad at it. It's just how the offense was schemed. So giving him the opportunity to put the ball in the air is another thing that the Bengals have to worry about. And I don't think the Bengals have a strong enough defense to be able to allocate enough personnel to go ahead and bottle this team up. They can rush. If they get that going, they can then lean on the throwing the ball even more so. And if they get ahead, then really the Bengals they'll be at a loss completely. But if the Bengals can dictate the game just by putting up points every time they touch the ball, because that's the strength of this team, it's like you're saying, the Chargers would then have to meet them and just making this a barn burner. So it just depends on how the cookie crumbles, but it's more so leading into the Chargers' hands, given the variables that they can control and they're better at. So I think the defense here for the Bengals is such a weak link for them that they won't be able to contain the Chargers as you've hinted to.
Yeah, and I think, it's all about, like, if Trey Henderson gets pressure and stuff, like, he needs to be living in the backfield. But they got good tackles, but he's going to have to, like Sam Hubbard, Hendrickson are going to have to beat up on the tackles for the Chargers, and it's not an easy task. So, it's one of those things, like, a team who's playing consistent, who has a top-end quarterback who's playing at an elite level, or a team like the Bengals who could beat anyone, but they may not be playing as consistently. So it'll be an interesting matchup tonight. And then I'm picking the Texans. I don't love it, but I just think the Cowboys are just in dumpster fire mode right now. The one thing to like kind of keep an eye on, and I don't think it's not a reason why the Cowboys will win. I don't think they're going to win, but I do think that it may not be like a massive blowout like everyone thinks. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if like Nico's the difference maker, I think, in this game to me, and Joe Mixon, you could really run on this Dallas Cowboys defense, but Micah Parsons, you can move him around, especially on this garbage ass interior of the Texans defensive line, and you can make mismatches for him, where he could at least impact the game. So I think if the Cowboys are going to win anything, they probably need to score on special teams and defense, and you need Micah Parsons to be living in the backfield and like sacking his podcast buddy CJ Stroud,
which is a tall order. And I also think the Texans will go ahead and win the game. So there you go.
I agree.
That said, the Bengals also want to say they got Jamar Chase. So, I never know. I've seen enough with that dude. He enough can go ahead and balance the scales in his favor. So
on the Bengals one?
Yeah. So
yeah, it's that the Bengals one, that's a toss-up. That's just flip a coin, pick one. I have no conviction about that one. I have to pick one, so I picked one. That was it. Like, I don't feel either. Oh my God. Like, if the Bengals win, I'll be like, this sounds right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys win, I'll be like, wow.
I'll be absolutely flabbergasted. I'll tell you that right now. I might literally eat a crow on the damn show. That's how much I don't believe they're going to win this game.
I'll be very happy if the Cowboys win that game, but I'm not expecting it. Understood. All right, y'all. That's the show. I want to end it before we get to the game, so you guys can watch the this game that I think is going to be an amazing contest between the Chargers and the Bengals. Thank you guys so much for hopping on the show. We're going to be going live again next week, 7:30 on YouTube as well. On TikTok, thank you guys for hopping in here and talking smack about my Bills pick, as always. So, yeah, We'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.
Appreciate your time.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.